Hey there, this is Liz from Queen Lila, and today I'm going to show you something different. I'm going to show you how I do a really quick, rough blow dry with no brush, so stay tuned. This is what I do when I don't have any time or I'm too lazy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm not going to be using a brush. The only thing I'm going to be using is my hair dryer. This is a professional hair dryer. You need to have something with power to do this. If you have one of those wimpy, consumer blow dryers, then it's not gonna work. It's gonna take forever and it's not gonna work. So you need power and definitely you need a nozzle. What the nozzle does is it gives you a lot more power to direct the heat where you need it, and also it makes the heat concentrated and therefore more hot. Otherwise, if you don't have a nozzle, then the heat just disperses, it goes pretty much everywhere. So very important. Nozzle, hair dryer. That's all you need to do this. And of course, if you want to use some products in your hair, I highly recommend and encourage you to use something for heat protection, anti-frizz, whatever. Check out my video on how to fight frizz. Let's get to it. Okay, I haven't put any products on. I'm just going to use my DIY leave-in conditioner. Check out the card on how to make your own. It's very easy. Very easy. This is just gonna help me detangle my hair. If you're wondering what this funny looking brush is, it's a tangle teaser. I love my tangle teaser. You should get one, especially if you have long hair or if you have fine hair that tends to knot very easily. Or if you have kids. If you have kids like with long hair, either boys or girls, and you have a really hard time detangling their hair because they're screaming and they, it's a painful thing, then get a tangle teaser. I am not sponsored. I wish I was. If you don't have a tangle teaser, then always when you detangle your hair, do it from the bottom up, holding it so that it doesn't hurt. From the bottom, moving up, because if you go straight like this and you're not using a brush like this, you're just gonna create knots and they'll never come out. I mean, like ever. You'll be there for hours. Okay, so before we start, we're going to take away the excess moisture because now my hair is very wet from the shower, and if I start blow drying it now, like doing the technique now, it's going to take forever. So I'm just going to dry it really roughly, just rough dry it, take away the excess moisture. If you want your hair to be nice and sleek and smooth and without volume, then always blow dry like I'm doing. So towards from the top to the bottom without doing this. Because when you do this, you upset the cuticle, you open up the cuticle, and which is basically it's kind of like scales on a hair strand. So when you do that, you upset the cuticle and the hair becomes frizzy and bigger. Now, if that's what you want, great. If you don't have a lot of volume in your hair and you want a little bit more volume, great. But I would suggest that you don't just go like that you go, very thoughtful. So either do this or tilt your head down and, do the roots like that. Okay, now we got most of the moisture out. I'd say this is about 60% dry. I'm going to take a section for my eyebrows, back, clip it up. Of course, this depends on how much hair you have. If you have a low density of hair, like you don't have a lot of hair or your hair is fine, you might be able to get away with doing it all together. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to hold the section of hair and just blow dry it as if I had a brush holding it there for me. So I'm just gonna hold it really tight and taut. And again, going, you know, with the hairdryer straight down because I want it smooth. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh, again, and something else. This works better if you have long hair or longer hair. You can do it if your hair is shoulder length and longer. If your hair is short, you can do it, but it's a different, kind of a different technique, which I am gonna show you in my bang area. So don't be discouraged. But it does work better if you have longer hair. Because what we're basically going to be doing is we're going to be using our hands to pull the hair taut, and our hair dryer is going to go and slowly dry the hair and smooth it out. And also, if you have really curly hair, sorry, this isn't for you. You're gonna have to use a brush if you want to have smooth hair and straight hair. Okay, let's start. Now you will notice that this is not an especially smoothing technique. Like I said before, this is what you can do if you're in a rush, if you're somewhere where you don't have a brush handy and you have your hair dryer. So, you know, it's kind of a last minute emergency technique. So this is the long parts. Now what I usually like to do is when I get to this part and my hair is still warm, I like to do a low, take it all together, twist it into a low bun, and that will give me some nice waves when the hair has cooled and has dried completely. I'm just using some large hairpins to secure. So I just do like a low bun, leave it there, let it cool down, let it completely dry, because you have a little bit of moisture left on the ends, because you're not sort of drying it as thoroughly as the mid-lengths and the roots. So what do we do when we have shorter hair? I will show you the way, but I will add a disclaimer. Please, 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 please be careful with this. And before you try it on yourself, like as I'm going to show it to you, please do it first on dry hair. Listen to me very carefully. Do it first on dry hair with cold air. Because if you're not careful and you don't know what you're doing and you're not confident with the technique yet, you can burn your scalp very severely. Please, please be careful. So please do it with cold air on dry hair first, okay? So now that that's out of the way, what we will be doing is basically we're going to be grazing our scalp. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be grazing our scalp, and by doing this, we're smoothing out the hair that's short. Now, let me show you. Oh, and another thing, when you're doing this, you don't want to be going one direction. You want to be going left, right, center, every which way. Cold air always at the end. And that's it, you guys. See, I got really nice, smooth, with kind of a nice sort of bend at the ends, you know, very natural looking. Now, granted, my hair is very easy to blow dry. You know, it behaves when I tell it to do something. But it's also part of the technique, you know, it has to do with the technique as well. So again, I'm gonna say, please, please, please be careful. Don't burn yourself with both ways, with the short hair way or with the long haired way. If you have a professional hair dryer, it's very easy to burn yourself. Please be careful. Please, please, please be careful. If you're underage, don't do this. I'm watching you. Better be careful. I hope this helped. I hope you got a couple tips and tricks for this. So thanks very much for watching. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments section below. I'll see you in the next one. Follow me on all social networks if you want to see what's going on in Queen Lila land. And yeah, see you later. Have a great day. Bye.